Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Ali El-Sinaid from West Virginia State University. I'm the director of the Cybersecurity Innovation Center, and we're having a really good program, and probably I will not be objective here because I'm running it, so I'm going to say it's a good program. In this program, we have 12 students, master's degree, bachelor's degree, and these students, they're doing different research in cybersecurity. The most important aspect of cybersecurity that we would like to deal with and we would like to find a solution for is the attacks and how we can defend them, how we can prevent them, and how we can mitigate them in case if they just happen. Now I have 4 of my students today, and they're going to present their work and what their findings about some of the important attacks in cybersecurity today. What we're going to do, the setting of it, if you allow me, I'm going to let each one of them, they're going to present their work, and then we have 4 topics. It's going to be here. And after that, if you guys have any question, I would love you to ask them because I'm going to check how much these guys, got the knowledge, right? So feel free to ask. Deal? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So we're going to start with Joshua.
Hello everyone, my name is Josh Gilliland and I'm an undergraduate researcher at West Virginia State University. I'd like to thank Secure West Virginia for having us here, and I'm going to be talking about the vulnerabilities introduced by IoT and ways we can use machine learning to mitigate those. So first off, we got to understand what IoT is. So IoT stands for the Internet of Things. It's any interconnected device that uses Wi-Fi to transmit and collect data. For instance, my Fitbit smartwatch, it collects my heart rate, breathing rate, things like that, and transmits it to my phone, which I can then send to a healthcare provider for them to look at. So when it comes to your home has many smart devices like thermostats, security systems, Ring doorbells, even refrigerators or vacuums at times. But we're talking about critical infrastructure. So in an industrial setting, it's important to know how such like a power plant would use these sensors. So they use temperature probes, density level monitors, and they need to send that to the control room to understand how the plant is running, what the operations are like. So an important section at a power plant would be the FGD department, or flue gas desulfurization. And so they use a mixture of limestone and water called slurry, and it cleans the sulfur dioxide out of the emissions. So why is cybersecurity important for IoT? IoT devices are particularly vulnerable to attacks because they often lack security updates, especially in industrial settings, because as you can see here, they're in hard to reach places. There's a lot going on, and to update them, you may have to shut down operations temporarily. So it wouldn't be practical to do this so often. And so here's an example of one of the probes. This might be a density monitor or a temperature probe. And so this sends information to the control room. So if a hacker or a cyber criminal got into this system, it could send the control room false data to make it appear as if operations are running completely normal, when in fact sulfur dioxide is going into the atmosphere. And too much sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere can cause things like acid rain and damage the respiratory systems of individuals living in the community. And on top of that, you're going to get Environmental Protection Agency fines as well as other legal issues. But all hope is not lost. There is a way to mitigate this. And so we'd like to introduce the use of artificial intelligence, specifically machine learning. And machine learning can analyze these data sets from data traffic and tell whether or not this is normal data or if it's been maligned. So this is an example of a machine learning algorithm. This is called a random forest, and it's an ensemble method because it uses multiple different machine learning models. So these are each decision trees, and they combine together to make one random forest. And here's some common data sets that are used for cybersecurity. These have a lot of training data and specific attack classes depending on which one you use. And other data sets have more packets and less packets. So depending on the machine learning algorithm you're using, some data sets work better than others. And the metrics that were evaluated to show the efficiency of these algorithms were accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 score. Now, accuracy is how well it performs overall. And F1 score takes into account precision and recall, which account for is there true and false positives or true and false negatives. And a false positive is way better than a false negative because at least it flags it, but in a false negative, it's going to go unnoticed, the attack will. So here's the results from the review. So on the left-hand side, we have the algorithms listed, and then the resources that the algorithms were evaluated in, the data sets they were trained on, the complexities, and the minimum and maximum accuracies and F1 scores. And the minimum and maximum is important because an algorithm could work really well in one setting, but then do really poorly in another. So we have to see what's the variability like to make sure that they're going to be performing well consistently. And so this shows it in a chart. So the more blue you see in this chart, the more that algorithm varies. So for instance, adaptive boosting is in the middle, and it can perform well if optimized correctly. You see it has a little bit more than 80%, but at its worst, it's less than 20% accuracy. So that wouldn't be one unless it was optimized very well that we would want to use. Now, random forest and multi-layer perceptron, they score highly in the minimum and maximum. So there's less variability there. The random forest, though, uses less computational power. So in systems where you're going to be focused on costs and the amount of data, the random forest mode would be more efficient for your operation. And then an F1 score, it's pretty much the same result, although the variability is a bit more, except on random forest and multi-layer perceptron, again, just confirming that result. Now, in conclusion, we see that ensemble methods like the random forest tend to do better, which means that those are what we want to look into. And deep learning models perform the best, however, but they take a lot more resources, a lot more data to train on. And optimization techniques are important because, as you can see here, adaptive boosting can perform well, but if it's not optimized right, it performs horribly. And for future research, we need to see what types of ensemble methods work the best, what can we do to make them work better, because even random forest, you can customize it a lot. So we just need to see what the best configuration is. And the real world applications, so these have all been trained on data sets taken from cybersecurity traffic. So what would this look like implemented in a real environment like a power plant? And so training it in that real data and testing it on that would give us much better information. And I'd like to thank Secure West Virginia, the SURE program, and the Cybersecurity Innovation Center for making this happen. And here we go. I don't think so.
No, just that one.
Hello, everyone. My name is Austin Higginbotham. I'm a student at West Virginia State University pursuing my bachelor's in computer science and a minor in cybersecurity. How do you present this on the Mac, Joshua? Okay.
And it'll show you.
Okay. So again, my study is a DDoS attack against cloud computing, specifically how do we combat that, what's going on in that sector, and how is research ongoing. So to begin, I'll explain what is cloud computing, for those of you who don't know. Cloud computing is the delivery of computer services over the internet. Users of cloud computing will rely on the cloud servers to handle their databases and data storage. Cloud computing is a scalable source of computing resources. And here in West Virginia, lots of small businesses use cloud computing because they can't dump a lot of money to build up a large computer IT infrastructure to handle the scaling customer base. That's another reason why it's used. Cloud computing is often used by small businesses with scalable futures, like I said. Cloud computing saves on costs since users don't need to buy and maintain computer infrastructures. Cloud computing is used to storage large amounts of data, and cloud offers 24/7 access to its users regarding their data and services. What is a DDoS attack? A DDoS attack is a distributed denial of service attack. These attacks can be aimed at small or large businesses. Successful DDoS attacks will cause the targeted network to become slow or unusable. DDoS is only growing and becoming more common. DDoS is a common threat to the cloud. What makes up a DDoS attack? A DDoS attack is the result of botnets. Botnets are networks of compromised machines across the globe that have been infected with malware. These computers are under the control of cyber criminals who can use these networks to launch different types of attacks, DDoS being one of those. DDoS occur when the bots are used to overwhelm a network. The scale of DDoS attacks. According to Cloudflare's Q3 DDoS report, their systems mitigated over 8.5 million DDoS attacks in just the first half of 2024. Moving further into 2024, adding Q3 to that, they claim to have mitigated over 14.5 million DDoS attacks. This averages to around 2,200 DDoS attacks per hour. According to Google Cloud in 2020, they mitigated an attack on their cloud armor that peaked at 46 million requests per second. In the following year, Google claimed to have mitigated an attack that peaked at 398 million requests per second. The scale of DDoS against large cloud environments is only getting larger and more common. Why does this matter? Cloud offers 24/7 access to its users regarding their data. A common attack can slow or stop a cloud network from handling real user requests. All who rely on a cloud network that is successfully attacked will be ineligible to access their data for the duration of the attack. Businesses and government who use cloud data storage will have no access to their important data because of a successful DDoS attack. What is currently being done? The way DDoS attacks against the cloud is being combated currently is machine learning and deep learning based detection methods. These detection algorithms are high in accuracy and can reliably detect when a cloud network is under attack. Once detected, the cloud managers can initiate their protocol to mitigate the attacks. Why machine learning and deep learning solutions? Throughout research, there is a high interest in machine learning and deep learning based DDoS detection methods. These solutions are adaptable. They can adapt to the changing patterns of DDoS since attackers also use machine learning and deep learning to change the way their attacks come at the cloud network. These solutions are efficient in resource usage and they do not need many resources to detect the DDoS attack. They offer faster analysis of network traffic compared to human analysis. To summarize, cloud services are available and ever increasing in popularity. They face several cyber attacks, including DDoS. And DDoS can be detrimental to all who use a successfully attacked cloud. The cloud providers are constantly improving and adapting detection and mitigation techniques to combat this threat. And that is what I'm doing at West Virginia State University, working on these solutions and algorithms, trying to improve them. And that is all for my presentation.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Elias Valencia. I'm a computer science student at West Virginia State University, currently on my senior year. And during this past summer, with the help of Dr. Lee, I did my research on evaluating AI-driven algorithms for the detection and prevention of code injection attacks. Now, first of all, we need to know what a code injection attack is. A code injection attack is a cyber attack that involves injecting malicious code into a computer program or web application that is vulnerable. This allows hackers to compromise the device, steal sensitive information, introduce viruses, manipulate files, or disrupt system processes. Now, on my research, I focused on three main code injection attacks. The first one being SQL injection attack, which is when the hacker identifies a vulnerable website and injects SQL statement with malicious code into the website, and then via input data, and then the user activates this malicious code, which then allows the hacker to gain access to the database. Now we have cross-site scripting, which is basically when a hacker injects a malicious script into a website, and then the user triggers it when it enters the website, and then he can get cookies, session tokens, data from the user. And then we have OS command injection, which is basically operating system command injection. It basically works the same as the cross-site scripting with a malicious script, but it targets the operating system and the privilege from the user, from the hacker. Now, why is code injection attack so important? Well, as we can see here in the statistics from the 2023 Web Applications Vulnerability Report, we can see that SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and malicious file upload, which are all code injection attacks, represent approximately 60% of all the attacks in 2023 when it comes to web applications. So this study is so important because with AI coming along, code injection attacks are becoming more frequent and complex. And with the traditional methods that we had before to defend these code injection attacks, they're not as efficient as if we use AI to defend them. So with the advancements in AI, we can use AI-driven algorithms to enhance real-time detection and be more efficient with the defenses. This improves cybersecurity and improves defenses, and it reduces the risk and the impact of the attacks. Now, as I said before, AI provides real-time detection. It's adaptive. You can train the machine. It's scalable. It provides proactive defense, resource efficiency, and it's accurate, very accurate when you train it properly. Now, for my research, we retrieved 10 different algorithms from different sources and classified them with the time complexity, their accuracy, precision, and recall, gathering the lowest accuracy, the highest accuracy, the lowest and highest precision, and the lowest and highest recall. Now, for my first comparison, I did the comparison between the lowest accuracy of all the algorithms proposed. Why the lower accuracy? Because this helps companies to choose the best algorithm based on the minimum performance on critical tryouts, let's say, when it comes to algorithms. So companies can choose which algorithm is best when it requires the minimum performance. Now, for my second comparison, I did the algorithm average accuracy and the time complexity. Here, as we can see, there's no correlation between the complexity and the accuracy of the algorithm. However, we can find that the deep neural network and the MLP algorithm, they're both one of the best ones when it comes to code injection attacks, and one of the most reliable. But for my research, the one that was the best one, it was MLP, which is multi-layer perceptron, because It provided the best results, the higher precision, it minimized the false positives, and it ensured accurate threat detection when it comes to code injection attacks. Now, for my future work, I want to work more into MLP algorithms, expose them to different data sets, to different code injection attacks. And yeah, thank you, Secure West Virginia, for the opportunity, and for Ali, and for the Cybersecurity Innovation Center. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon or evening. My name's Adeomi Samuel from West Virginia State, and I'll be talking about APT, Analytical Study on Advanced Persistent Threats, Detecting, Defending, and Mitigating. It's one of the projects we've been working under Dr. Ali in the department. And well, let's go at it and see what it is. Of course, APT has already been defined there, so I'll just try and break it down a bit, and let's see how we can go from there. Advanced can be looked at from two sides, either from the attacker side or from the effect of what the attack is doing itself. So the attacker, uses sophisticated, tools and skills to make sure that he gets this malware on the network or on the system. And then, of course, in the terms of the network, we see that when it's advanced, that means it's more than the normal kind of stuff. And when we go on, I'll explain more. Persistence means it's kind of repetitive. So it takes time, and the attacker is patient. Of course, we know how attacks work on systems or networks. Sometimes it can be fast. A lot of attackers want their attacks to be fast. But in this case, it goes in and then it takes time. It's kind of prolonged. It's patient and waits out. It waits out time for the real. And of course, we know what threat is. So we'll be going on from there. So APT has a foothold or stronghold on a network or a system. And what does that mean? If the attack has come in, or if the threat has come in already, for example, this room, we don't know what the attack is. So it's difficult to mitigate, or it's difficult to defend. Okay, so we have to make sure that we set barriers up to be able to handle this kind of things, and that's what the project is all about. So let's look at the life cycle of APT. It starts at the reconnaissance phase, and what happens here? I'll secure WV, please permit me to use this conference again as an example. So I'm the attacker now, and I heard that SecureWV is going to have like a program. So at this phase, all I need to do is to study, find out when, the time, find out the venue. So that's all he's going to do at this point. Finding out the company, finding about what they do, what he can steal, things like that. And then the infiltration phase is where the attack begins. So he's already sending in the malware there, establishing the foothold, there's deployment of the malware. So that's the attack is already in at that point. Lateral movement phase is where he's already stealing the data, getting the information. Now, of course, I've said that it takes a prolonged time. The attacker is patient. He's not rushed to get, what he wants immediately. He takes it and waits out time so that he can get a lot of what he needs. After that, the exploitation and the attack take place. Now, at this point, the attack is done, but of course, it wasn't immediate. So some companies may be thinking maybe it just happened maybe yesterday, for example, but no, it's been something that has been dated back. And then one thing the attacker does is to make sure that he covers his tracks. And why does he do that? When he makes the infiltration and then the foothold is done, he makes sure that he has back doors, not just one, but a couple. so that he could also come back to the system anytime he wants to do that. So problems that we have with this, the impact on the systems, on the network, we have data breaches. And when you have data breaches, you have loss of data from organizations. I need to say that, and I'll still get to that, but I need to say that this affects mainly critical infrastructure, large companies, large enterprises. So they are really out to steal a lot of data, important data from big companies. So data breaches are there, reputational damage. For example, if I own a company and all of you use my company, and then you get to hear that I've been attacked and a lot of data has been stolen, I won't have that reputation I had previously. You probably want to leave my company for another company. So reputational damage, disruption of critical services, I won't be able to give you the value you really want there. And then financial losses, of course. Then, of course, backdoors, malware, phishing, and ransomware is also involved in this. Like I said before, the targets are critical infrastructure, government agencies, large enterprises, military or political entities. Okay, so these are some examples we can look at incidences or attacks on US-based places. 2015 OPM data breach. Now 4 million data records were compromised. But just reading that is, just surface. Actually, what happened there is the staff records were compromised. I mean, that's basic. But because of how prolonged the attack is, and this is the danger of APT, they were also able to get the records of the family members of the staff and then some international contacts from the staff. So the breach was not, or the attack was not just for the people in this room, for example. It's extended beyond that. And that's the danger of APT. Of course, we have some 2024 healthcare and Microsoft breach also 2024. Of course, healthcare breach is very dangerous because it's confidential data. So, prevention strategies, we can make sure that we work on our network, threat intelligence, zero trust architecture. I'll come back to that. Employee awareness, very important. Patch management, full spectrum. So ZTA, we can work on ZTA. We just had a session on ZTA just before this, and I really enjoyed it anyway. So, but ZTA, excuse me, ZTA, we can make sure that we minimize admin privileges. Of course, something he said, which is very true in ZTA, is we are trying to reduce the trust we have in everybody, but that's not actually possible. So, of course, there will be some admin privileges, but if as much as possible, we should try and minimize that. Patch management, now some of the attackers may come in using payloads, patches, so we have to make sure that we are very particular about patch management. Employee awareness, equally important. Okay, so mitigating with machine learning and deep learning. So that's where the project is taking a turn to now under Dr. Ali. So using machine learning and deep learning, they can learn about these attacks and quickly, pick up such attacks when they are happening in the system. And then we'll be able to strategize better, and then we'll be able to mitigate them completely. So summary, instead of using things like maybe IDS, machine learning will actually be a better way of doing this. Why? Is because, sorry, I think I shouted there. Why is because, APT is always changing. So it's always moving within the system. It doesn't stay in one place because it knows that, definitely, the attacker knows that you will be looking for it. When you notice that something is wrong with the system, you'll definitely be looking for where the problem is. And that's why it creates many backdoors, so that when you block one, it has another way of getting through. So I think, thank you, SecureWV, for this opportunity. I don't know if I've done justice to this topic. Thank you.
See you then.